No, that's not true. I come back every year to see friends and family, and it just happened to coincide with this amazing event. I wish I could speak as well as Kim Harper does. He was a brilliant president, I know. I was very fortunate and honoured to be your first president, and I'm very honoured to be here tonight to join you in the 30th year celebration, so thank you very much. Kim's description of how things began was pretty accurate. We spent quite a bit of time at Graham's house in North Balwyn, just round the corner from Rob Dyer's. Rob used to talk there from time to time. We all know one another very well. There's one other person that Kim didn't mention that I would like to make mention of, because I think he deserves some credit for the very beginnings, and that's a gentleman called Wal Harris, who some of you may remember. A lovely man, and unfortunately he left us pretty early on, and as somebody pointed out, made it to the last control point long before his time. He was an amazing guy to travel with. I believe he was an ex-Forward Works driver or something like that, and had done one of the Southern Cross routes. I'm not sure about that, but I know he'd been around for quite a while. And he got me to drive for him one day or one night when we did an event, and I said to him, well, I'm a terrible driver, I'm a navigator, I can't drive, you know, I'm terrible, and I really was, not very good, and Neil Swan will testify to that. But anyway, Wal said, I said, why do you get me to drive for you, Wal? Because, you know, we're never going to win while I'm driving. And he said to me, you don't frighten me, Jimmy. So that's how bad I was. But he also, for those who knew him, he used to smoke incessantly. And his car, the bottom of his car was covered in ash. And yeah, I know, it was horrendous. And I was one of the few people who would work with him. And we were driving along the road one night, and I said to him, and he used to, the ash from the cigarette would slowly get longer and longer and longer. And he'd have the maps in front of him. And I said, I'll be coming up to a corner, and I said, well, which way do we turn? And I looked across, and his ash had dropped onto the map and was sort of burning a hole in it. And he said, hang on, I think I sort that. but he was a character, but he's a lovely, lovely man, and he and Graham and myself, and Kim gave a very good description of the way we started. We all agreed that we wanted to get that sort of thing going. We knew a lot of guys that had really nice cars and couldn't use them, so we gave them the opportunity. And I was talking to Roy earlier on, and Kim mentioned the cinder track out there in the back of somewhere behind Camperdown, and the sight and the sound of Roland Tidd in a GT Falcon flat out sideways around the cinder track was just something to behold. It was amazing. And some of the cars that came out of the woodwork were fantastic. I've been asked to Kim wanted me to tell a funny story about Graham Wallace, not he. Well, everybody in this room could tell one of those. It's not difficult. In fact, I was talking to Glad Fish right about it, but they said, well, we can give you half a dozen. The one I would like to just briefly mention was a trip across to the border, I think it was, in South Australia with Graham, not his affectionately known. And everywhere you'd go with him, we'd be driving on the road and say, I know that road over there, that goes so and so and so and so on. And I know with this road, he's got an encyclopedic knowledge, you know, of roads anywhere in Australia. Anyway, we'd been to the rally, we're coming back in his orange 203, which some people will remember. And we're driving on the road, and all of a sudden there's a bang, and the thing leaps up in the air and comes back to earth, and he said, oops, I think we've broken something in the back axle or the suspension or something. And we were somewhere short of the Victorian border, in the middle of nowhere, basically. And I said to Graham, what do we do? Now, one of the things you should know about Graham and Walt also, that anywhere you go with him, you knew you were going to get home. somehow he would make this thing work, and you'd get home. So I wasn't all that worried about it, but I did wonder what was going to happen. He said, look, we passed a farmhouse just a little bit further back. So we got out of the car and we walked back to the gate and walked up to the farmhouse and knocked on the door. Lady answered the door. Lady, I won't describe it. No, that anyway. She was an ancient farmer's wife, put it that way. And she looked at Graham and said, yes. And Graham said, and if you know Nigel, you'll know that the way he spoke left this woman in complete confusion. But she because he gave her a complete description of exactly what had happened. And she just looked at him and said, and he said, look, is there anywhere we can work on the car? And that seemed to register. Oh yes, we've got a shed over there. So we got the old 203, reversed up the road, up into the shed, to discover that this farm had nothing less than a 4-post hoist. So up the car went up in the air. Graham's fossicking around in all sorts of drawers, finds all the bits and pieces, repairs the car, gave the lovely lady, a fiver for her trouble, and off we went and got back home again. I mean, the man was amazing, you know. But there are lots of stories that people could tell like that. But he's one of those guys, really good rally man, knows more about rallying than I will ever know. And you know, I'm just sorry he's not here to enjoy this. I can't believe that the club that we began around a kitchen table has ended up with the people in this room and the number of people that belong to it. I am honoured to be your first president, so thank you very much.